Hey, what's up guys, TheJordude here, back again with another Shadowverse video. Like I said in my previous Shadowverse video, I wanted to do a card review on the additional cards coming up in the mini expansion for World Uprooted. Coming up pretty soon. They're pumping out card reveals right now. And of course your boy doesn't have a card review. I don't know why Shadowverse doesn't give me a card review. I feel like I've been doing Shadowverse videos for such a long time. I did one card review. I think I was like the first person in NA to do a card review for them, but I haven't gotten a card review since then. So everyone, please send messages to Side Games and Shadowverse. Tell them, give TheJordude some love, give me some cards to review. But anyways, I wanted to review the cards so far. I think there's like 9 cards that they have so far. I'm just on the Shadowverse website right now. So I'm just going to go over each of these cards, give you guys my thoughts about the card, what kind of decks I could see them being played at, and then I'll give them a rating out of 5 stars. Alright, so the first card that we have is Elf Queen of Abundant Life. She is going to be the new legendary for Forest Craft. She's 3 play point, 2/3, evolves into a 4/5 ward, fanfare, draw a card. And she has an evil effect where she deals 1 damage to a random enemy follower. Do this X times, X equals the number of cards in your hand. Now, right now in Forestcraft, there's like 2 decks that you could play. Machina Forest, which hasn't really seen any play at all, so it's not really a deck that you could play. And Control Forest with Roach, and that's the most popular Forest deck at the moment. There are like other Forest archetypes like Amelia's Forest and what is it? Guardian Forest. Those decks haven't really seen much plays. Guardian Forest doesn't really build up a hand size, so I don't see Elf Queen being too good in that. Amelia's Forest, you do stuff your hand with fairies, so maybe this card could be okay. Kind of give you time. But I mainly see this, it doesn't fit in Machina at all. I mainly see this card in Roach Forest, right? Control Forest. So 3 play points, 2/3, draw a card. It takes up quite a bit of your play points where you want to try to set up combos to play this. You can't really cheat out her play point costs. So 3 play points, just draw a card, 2/3 ward. It's pretty meh. However, with her evolve effect where you could deal a lot of ping damage, and most of the time as a Control Force player, you're going to have quite a full hand unless you're really grasping for air. So oftentimes I would say on average you should have like on average 7 cards in your hand. So Evil deals 7 is pretty good, especially against like a lot of Machina decks. This card could be very helpful. Of course, Forest does have already like control tools such as Aria's Whirlwind, El Chao and Mei, but this being an addition, because when I'm playing Forest, a lot of times I don't draw into my Aria's Whirlwind. So this card could actually be quite useful. I could see running 2 or 3 copies of her in Control Forest, especially with the new expansion. If the new expansion comes in, I'm not sure which card gets rotated out of Control Forest. That's something I need to check out actually. So actually, when we're checking which cards are getting rotated out of Forest in the next upcoming expansion, we're actually losing Aria's Whirlwind. We're also losing Nature's Guidance. So Control Forest might not even be a consideration of a deck that we could play. In the upcoming expansion. We're also losing Machina Forest basically. So yeah, with Elf Queen coming in, it is going to be a substitution for Aria's Whirlwind. So with that in consideration, you're probably going to be running 3 copies of Elf Queen if you're playing a variation of Control Forest. Well, we still have Roach but no Guidance, so it really depends if we have another bounce card coming into the next expansion. So it's really hard to give this card a rating. I would say probably like a 4.5, because I definitely see this card being played in Forest decks in the future. Just because Forest in general, you're always going to have cards in your hand. There's always combo Forests that you have cards in your hand, so Elf Queen is probably going to be played in those decks. So 4.5 out of 5, I would say, just because like 3 costs, 2/3. If you don't, you have to have an evil point too. We don't have Carbuncle anymore, so saving an evil for this card might be a bit awkward at times. So yeah, that's why it went down by half a rating, but I think it's going to be a very solid card still. So going on to the next Forest card, we have Windfall Fate, which is the golden card, 5 cost, 2/2. However, her fanfare is recover 4 play points when you play a card, and it's the 5th card or later played this turn, draw a card. So keep in mind that you could play Faye first, and then you just play a bunch of stuff, and then her effect can activate after. You don't have to play her as the 5th card. And her evolve effect is the same. So basically, she's like 1 play point 2/2. First of all, that's fine. That's pretty good, starting from turn 5. And to get 5 cards or later play this turn, it's definitely doable when you think about Control Force, but you're not going to be playing 2 main cards after. Like, I'd say the most you play in one turn is probably 6 when you're doing a lot of stuff on a turn. So you're going to be playing Windfall Fate when basically you're trying to do a lot of stuff. So you have to do a lot of stuff to clear your opponent's board, or you just have a bunch of cheap stuff and it's kind of into the mid to late game. But yeah, this kind of goes hand to hand with the legendary card in that it's more of a control combo focused deck. So this really depends next expansion how Side Games decides on supporting Force. Are they going to give it more of a combo, more roach support? If so, then I think this card is going to be really good. If you're going to be playing Elf Queen of Abundant Life, most likely you're going to be playing Windfall Fate. This card I think is even better than the legendary, just because it's just a 1 play point 2/2 and you could activate combos a lot easier. She's a lot more fluid when playing in your deck. So I actually think this card is probably going to... I give this card like a 4.5 out of 5 again. The reason why it's not a 5 out of 5 is because sometimes you're going to play her, but you're not going to get to 5 cards, or you're just going to draw 1 card off her, then she's very mediocre. And now that I said that out loud, I actually want to give her 4 stars. So she's getting a 4 out of 5. Even though I said I like her better than the legendary, what I just said right now kind of made me reconsider it. So yeah, 4 out of 5. Alright, so moving on to the next card, we have the Swordcraft legendary, which is Amelia, the Silver Flash. 5 play point, 4/4, evolves into a 6/6. Randomly put 2 different officer followers from your deck into your hand. In hand 7, gain the ability to evolve for 0 play points, evolve for 0 evo points, and you gain the following effect. The next time this follower takes damage, reduce that damage to 0. So, and her evolve effect is until the end of your turn, subtract 3 from the cost of an officer follower in your hand. Okay, so you play her, you get 2 officers, which is pretty good on its own. It's like you +1 by playing her. And if you evolve her, well, if you play her on 5, she won't get the damage to 0. Her turn 5, if you play her to evolve, is like meh, but maybe you could tempo something out like your officer. So looking at the cards that are getting rotated out, by the way, the expansion deck that's rotated out next is Rebellion, I believe, because if you go into Altosphere in rotation, there's no cards. So yeah, Rebellion gets rotated out next. So the cards that are getting rotated out of Swordcraft, there's nothing really significant except for Ivory Sword Dance. Aside from Ivory Sword, I guess there's Licia. Yeah, so Ivory Sword Dance and Licia gets rotated out, but it still looks like the strongest archetype in the pool would be like Evil Sword. Of course, with the expansion, there might be a new archetype that makes the deck, that just makes a new sword deck. Then that's kind of unpredictable. But in terms of Amelia, for officers, like, it does work in Evil Sword, I guess, but she's kind of clunky if you're going to be playing her in Evil Sword. And like the reduction of an officer for the 1 turn only, like it's not that good in my opinion. So there's also like 11 Sword, which I mean, like 11. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't say too much about Sword because I don't dive into the class too much aside from Evil Sword. But this card, I think, is not going to be really played in the mini expansion format. But coming into the next expansion, depending on what they support for Swordcraft, this card might be more playable. But for now, I would give this card like a 2 out of 5, just because the fanfare to put 2 officers from your hand into your deck, from your deck into your hand, is pretty good, and her evo effect is good. Her enhanced 7 effect's not great at all in my opinion. Not too good in my opinion, and yeah, she's just kind of slow. So I think that's why I should gain a lower rating, because she's just kind of too slow for the meta, I think. Alright, next off we got a Runecraft card. It's called Formbender. It's golden 3 play point 2/3. and it evolves into a 4/5 fanfare. Transform another follower or amulet into a clay golem. If this card has been spell boosted at least 5 times and the selected card was an allied card, transform it into a Eldritch Chimera instead. Okay, so if we look at what Eldritch Chimera is, it's a 6 play point 5/5, goes to a 7/7 ward, can't be destroyed by spells and effects. Okay, this is interesting. So first of all, it's follower or amulet, so it's a very flexible card, and it could be. And you could transform either yourself or your opponent's cards. So first of all, being able to transform any card into a clay golem is pretty good on its own. Being able to polymorph anything like your opponent's Elenas or like a big spider that comes out is really good. You could transform amulets, so you could be playing Dirt Rune, and this card will work if you could Dirt and Spell Boost at the same time. I don't know if that would be possible with the next expansion, but who knows, because that would be pretty cool. But being able to transform if you have a small unit or a damage unit, turn into a 5/5 ward, it's actually pretty good. Looking into what gets rotated out, basically the Machina package for Rune gets rotated out, so yeah, we can't really consider Machina Rune making droids into 5/5. So if you're going to be playing Spell Boost Rune, which this card does work in because it has a Spell Boost effect, and so you're playing like Quan Rune, for example, yeah, this card could be pretty good. Like you could transform a Shikigami or something like, or like you could transform like a Shikigami into a 5/5. It's pretty decent, although it does take up board space, but just being another form of like hard removal for your opponent as well is also quite useful. So I would give this card again a 4.5 out of 5. The reason why it's not a perfect 5-star is that it's just 3 play points. You can't reduce the cost, and also if you're playing it in like a Quan Rune, then you're kind of limited on board space, so it's kind of hard to fit this in on times. And more than anything, I think it looks like a tech card, so if you're going to have a tech card in, it's probably going to be a 2-of at most. So it's not going to be. So I think it's a very solid card, but you're going to have some awkward situations with it because you have to transform a follower. You can't choose. So if sometimes you don't want to transform something, you can't play it. Like if you have a 2/2 on your board, or say you have like a board and your opponent has nothing, then you can't play this card, unless it's spell boosted 5 times, I guess. Yeah, so like 4 out of 5 is very good. It's a very good card. I don't think it's a perfect card because it's not playable in every situation. So as I'm editing this video, the video is actually pretty long, like 35 minutes. So I'm going to cut the video here in half, so this is around 15 minutes. The next video is also like 15 minutes. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, guys, make sure you consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you have any agreements or disagreements in my reviews, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll post the part 2 to this video tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.